Hi, welcome back to the next part in our Confessions of a Ballet Teacher series. I've been teaching for nearly a quarter of a century and I have been taking on some questions set by my students. Straight on in there and start with the questions. Question 1, what is the worst thing about being a ballet teacher? Well, there's a lot of good things before I start to answer this, so don't get put off. There's bad parts about every job. An easy thing I think would be to say it's all the little things that you don't see going on behind the scenes. I think especially as a studio owner, there's a lot of tidying and cleaning and organising that does need doing, which can get a bit annoying when you want to spend more time being creative and doing the actual teaching, the actual bit that you love. There's always a little part of you that can never completely switch off. There's always just a little part of you that just remains here even when you're not actually physically here. I guess another thing could be when you have to teach the same thing over and over again, not just each class as they move up through the school, but often the same thing week in, week out, every lesson to the same students with the same level of enthusiasm. And sometimes that can be difficult. Maybe the student is not showing improvement at that particular time or a commitment to want to improve. When people don't practice or when dancers don't remember what you've taught them the week before and they come in and just kind of look at you and expect you to do it all over again for them. Maybe that's more frustrating than part of the worst part of the job. But yeah, that's frustrating. When you don't feel like it but you have to do it anyway. When you're demonstrating and it hurts, or your body doesn't do what it used to do. Feet that flap around. When someone has talent but doesn't want to use it, or when someone comes in and they have scruffy hair. But these are all just little things. They're not really the worst thing. I don't know, this is really hard. Maybe there isn't a worst thing. Okay, so top of the list then, the worst thing about being a ballet teacher, I think, is when dancers leave. So the majority of the time here we'll get to know the pupils when they're about 3 or 4 years old and then watch them grow up through the school and develop, get to know their parents and their families. So by the time they're ready to leave and move on to college or uni or work, it does actually feel a real wrench for that to happen. I do always say to them, you will come back and visit, won't you? And when they do, that is absolutely one of the nicest parts of the job, for sure. I just think it's so powerful because it shows that growing up through the dance school meant a lot to them. And sometimes they even come back as teachers, which is incredible. Question 2, what was your favourite dance when you were little? So I let the first thought that popped into my mind when I read this question stay there. And funnily enough, it's not exactly a dance that is my favourite, but it's a mime. So when I was growing up, mime was a part of the classical ballet syllabi, and the teacher would choreograph a suitable mime for each grade, which was examined along with the rest of the work. I used to really love and look forward to this part of the class. I've got a nice memory that stands out of doing a mime about a sewing project, and we used to take our sewing project out of our basket and then get busy with it, and we sewed it to our clothes by accident, and then at the end we would hold the project up to be seen. Mime was used to develop our gesture and our characterization and mime skills, and I used to really enjoy it when the teacher would set a scene for you during class, and you would have to improvise it and work on the spot. So even though mime isn't a part of the classical ballet syllabus nowadays in the same way, I do still make an effort to really use it a lot in my classes, because I just remember how much I enjoyed being expressive in that way, and my pupils seem to as well. Question 3, what is your favourite age group to teach? So I was telling some students I was going to answer this question the other day, and they were trying to guess, and they were pretty much spot on. So I do love teaching all ages. I teach youngsters all the way through teenagers, adults, and I run senior classes as well. So I don't know, I do enjoy all of them, but probably if I have to choose, I'm going to say sort of pre-teen age, maybe kind of 8 to 12 is my absolute favourite. They've achieved a certain technical competence at this age, and yet they're still young enough for that magic. Question 4, what got you into dancing, and how long have you been dancing? Well, the short answer is that I started dancing at the age of 3 and have never stopped. And I'm not telling you how many years that is. Initially, I was taken to classes because my mum wanted me to have the opportunity to try ballet, because it was something she wanted to do when she was a child but didn't have the chance to. I quite liked it. There are several times when I was growing up where I wanted to give up. So here's a good point, don't give up. And then when I was 11, I went to a much more progressive school and did a lot more classes and varied training. And then I went straight into teaching when I'd finished my training and passed my teaching qualification, of course. But yeah, so never stopped since the age of 3. So that's good advice, isn't it? Never stop learning, never stay stationary. So that's it for now. I hope you found these answers interesting. I love hearing about other people's work, although I am known to turn most conversations around into, do you do Pilates? We should do Pilates. But that's a different story. As always, if you've got any dance or teaching related questions, then ask away and I'll see what I can do.